Our appetite for sleep, also known as sleep drive, is kind of similar to our appetite when it comes to hunger. The longer that we don't eat, the hungrier we get, the more that we are awake and active throughout the day, the more drive for sleep, the more appetite that we build up for the end of the night to be able to get that sort of more deep, consolidated, slow wave sleep that a lot of people with insomnia feel like they're missing. So, in this video, I'm going to talk about how we can really set ourselves up to feel as hungry as possible at night, build up that sleep drive so that when you are ready to go to bed at night, you're getting that sort of really, really nice and deep consolidated sleep. Hey, if you're new here, my name is Dr. Parky. I'm a clinical psychologist and behavioral sleep medicine specialist. I'm also the author of the self-help book known as The Insomnia Paradox, which is a fun book that talks about the CBT for insomnia strategies and teaching you how to be your own insomnia therapist and solve your own specific sleep problem. So, when it comes to people with insomnia, they're obviously feeling really, really tired, they're exhausted, it feels really effortful to do basically anything, and the nighttime comes, it's never good because you're never getting that sort of high quality rest. So you're engaging in compensatory behaviors like maybe going to bed early, trying to sleep in, getting naps where you can, and all of these compensatory behaviors make a lot of sense. We're tired, we're exhausted. At the same time, all of these things also insidiously affect our ability to build up pressure for sleep. So sleep pressure is directly correlated to the buildup of a byproduct in our brain known as adenosine, and adenosine is built up the more that we are awake and active throughout the day. So as more we're kind of engaging in, activities, spending time with friends, working, working out, whatever it might be, you're building more and more that pressure for sleep such that by the end of the night, you're really, really hungry for sleep and your body's ready to kind of take all that sleep pressure and give you the consolidated sleep that you need. And as you can imagine, certain behaviors can impact our ability to build up that appetite for sleep. If we're spending too much time in bed relative to how much we're sleeping, if we're taking naps during the day or dozing in the evening, we can think of these naps or these little dozing as like little sleep snacks in lieu of the large dinner at the end of the night. So even if we are feeling tired, it's helpful to do our best. We're not going to overexert ourselves, but to do our best to have some amount of activity in our day, still engage in the things that, we value, like spending time with friends, like working, like maybe going for a walk, even if like going for a run just feels a little bit too much at this time. So some things that you can really do to build up that pressure for sleep is to wake up around the same time, even after a poor night. So try not to overcompensate for that poor night by sleeping in. Still wake up around the same time. Do your best to stay active and alert throughout the day. If you have to rest for a little bit, that's totally okay. But try not to take like a big nap or anything like that, especially when that's late at night. It's kind of like the example of, having a big snack just before dinner. If you have a snack maybe in the early afternoon, like you're probably still going to be pretty hungry for dinner, but like if you have a big snack at like 5 p.m., then night comes, you're not going to be hungry. So just the same, try your best not to engage in too much naps or resting behaviors throughout the day to really build up that appetite for sleep. Now, for some people, they notice that even though they're engaging in all the right behaviors to really build up that appetite for sleep, night comes and they're just for some reason not hungry. They never feel hungry for sleep. And the reason for that, the analogy I might use is like for the people who are a bit more anxious, or if you ever had like, an exam coming up, or just recently got out of a relationship, or you're having an argument with your partner, you can imagine like during those periods, there are probably hours or days where you didn't really eat very much, but you never felt super hungry because that sort of like hyperarousal, the sort of anxiety almost masked that sleepiness. You were just so much in this fight or flight response, like the hunger signals didn't really protrude. And the same thing can happen with our sleep. If we're like super anxious about our sleep, or we're going to bed in this sort of fight or flight, highly aroused state, we're not going to be able to notice the hungers of sleep. So it's important to be able to manage some of those anxieties to allow the sleepiness to be unmasked. And some ways that you can do that, even today, would be, of course, to set a more intentional wind down period. So be thoughtful about the hour or two before bed. Do you have, sort of dimmer lights? Are you engaging in something that's pleasant and enjoyable? Like, are you rewatching a show like Friends or something, or Brooklyn Nine-Nine? Are you doing something like reading or listening to audiobooks? What's your kind of more intentional wind down period to make sure there's a nice time in between when you're kind of active and working and like ready for sleep? So have that little bit of a wind down time, being able to kind of recognize that you're following the right advice from a sleep science perspective, you're building up that appetite so that you're doing the right thing night after night when it comes to dealing with some of the sleep anxious thoughts. So those can be some ways to make sure that your hunger for sleep as high as possible while bringing down the arousal level so the sleepiness can be fully unmasked. So hopefully this video was helpful for you to learn a little bit more about sleep pressure, sleep drive, how do we build that appetite for sleep so that we're super hungry by the end of the night and we can cash that in for a really nice, restful, consolidated sleep. Some of the behaviors that make you hungry, as well as some ways to reduce arousal just a little bit so that extra work, that excellent work that you did can actually be reaped. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.